This is the image they said we would never see. For a decade, Donald Trump has been the Teflon Don. Impeachments bounced off him. Indictments boosted his poll numbers. Civil judgments were delayed, appealed, and bonded away. He seemed to live in a reality where consequences were for other people. But this morning, Saturday, January 24th, 2026, the Teflon just melted. Breaking news out of New York City has plunged the American presidency into a state of absolute chaos. A New York State Supreme Court justice has just issued an order for the immediate execution of judgment against the Trump Organization. This isn't a threat. This isn't a warning. This is a seizure order. As we speak, the New York City Sheriff's Office, the agency responsible for enforcing civil judgments, is reportedly preparing to serve foreclosure notices on some of the most iconic properties in the Trump portfolio. We are talking about 40 Wall Street. We are talking about the Trump Tower commercial spaces. We are arguably talking about the private jet. Why now? Why when he is sitting in the Oval Office? Because the financial contagion we talked about yesterday, the Japan bond crash, has claimed its first high-profile victim, the bonding agency that was securing Trump's massive civil fraud appeal. The liquidity crisis in Tokyo caused a margin call in New York. The insurer pulled the bond. Trump, cash-strapped from the campaign and the ongoing legal wars, couldn't replace it in the 24-hour emergency window given by the court. The stay is lifted. The shield is down. For the first time in American history, a sitting president is facing the active liquidation of his private business empire by a hostile state government. The Secret Service is currently in a standoff with local law enforcement regarding access to these buildings. The White House counsel is screaming for the Supreme Court to intervene. And the president is reportedly apoplectic, threatening to federalize the National Guard to protect his property. We are watching the collision of capitalism, the Constitution, and the crash. In this special report, we are going to break down exactly how this happened. We are going to look at the assets on the chopping block. We are going to explain why the Japan shock made this inevitable. And we are going to answer the question, can New York State actually evict the President of the United States from his own tower? Buckle up. History is being written in real time. To understand why the sheriff is moving today, we have to understand the financial plumbing that failed last night. Remember the $464 million civil fraud judgment from 2024? The one brought by Letitia James? Trump appealed it. To stop the seizure of his assets while the appeal played out, he had to post a bond. A surety company stepped in, vouched for him, and put up the guarantee. For 2 years, that bond held. It was the dam holding back the floodwaters. But yesterday, the global financial system shook. The Japanese bond market crashed. The yen carry trade unwound. Trillions of dollars in liquidity evaporated from the global banking system in hours. It turns out, according to leaked reports from the Wall Street Journal, the reinsurance consortium backing Trump's appeal bond was heavily exposed to Japanese commercial debt. When Tokyo collapsed, their balance sheet imploded. Late Friday night, regulators or the company's own risk committee forced a de-risking event. They informed the New York court that they could no longer secure the Trump judgment. They withdrew the bond. Usually a defendant gets 30 days to find a new bond, but this is New York. This is Letitia James. And this is a judge who has lost all patience. The court ruled that given the precarious nature of the defendant's liquidity and the global financial instability, no grace period would be granted. The logic was brutal. If the president is truly worth billions, he can write a check. If he can't write a check, then the assets must be secured now before they lose value in the crashing market. The order was signed at 9 a.m. Immediate seizure. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, effectively got a margin call on his life's work, and he couldn't meet it. So, what does Letitia James take? She doesn't want the golf courses. They are hard to sell, losing money, and full of legal complications. She wants the cash flow. She wants the trophy assets. Target 1. 40 Wall Street, the Trump building. This is the crown jewel of the liquidation list. It's a massive skyscraper in the financial district. But here's the catch. Trump doesn't own the land. He owns the ground lease. Ground leases are tricky. If you default on debt or judgments, the lease can be voided or sold. Taking 40 Wall Street hits Trump where it hurts. His identity as a New York mogul. It is valuable. It is liquid, relatively, and it is symbolic. Target 2. Trump Tower, commercial and retail. Not the penthouse yet. The bottom floors, the Gucci store, the atrium, the office space. The sheriff can appoint a receiver. This is a court-appointed CEO who takes over the building. Imagine this. A bureaucrat appointed by a Democrat attorney general walking into Trump Tower, firing the Trump org management and redirecting all the rent checks from the tenants directly to the state of New York. The president would still own it on paper, but he would lose control. He would lose the cash flow. He would be a tenant in his own building. Target 3, the Seven Springs Estate. This is the property in Westchester that was at the heart of the fraud case, inflated valuations. It is low-hanging fruit. It's not his home. It's an investment property. Seizing it is clean. Target 4, the bank accounts. This is the most immediate threat. The sheriff can send a levy to every bank in New York, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, etc. Any account with the name Trump Organization gets frozen. The money is siphoned out to pay the judgment. If this happens on a Monday morning payroll run, Trump org employees don't get paid. The maids at the hotels, the doormen, the executives, checks bounce. That is how you kill a company in 24 hours. This is where the situation moves from financial crisis to constitutional crisis. Trump Tower is not just an office building. It is the private residence of the President of the United States. It is a fortress. The Secret Service controls the perimeter. They control the elevators. They control the airspace. The sheriff of New York City is a law enforcement officer. He has a court order signed by a judge commanding him to enter the premises and inventory assets. So what happens when the sheriff walks up to the revolving doors on Fifth Avenue? The scenario, the sheriff approaches. The Secret Service agent stands in the way. Sir, you cannot enter. This is a secure zone protecting the National Command Authority. The sheriff says, I have a warrant to seize this property. The agent says, federal law supersedes state law. For security reasons, access is denied. This is a standoff. Guns are present. Egos are massive. The Attorney General anticipates this. That is why they are likely targeting the commercial entities first. You don't need to go into the penthouse to seize the bank accounts of the LLC that owns the penthouse. But the optics. Imagine the news footage of New York State officials pasting seized stickers on the windows of the Gucci store in the lobby of the president's home. It is a humiliation ritual, and it is designed to provoke a reaction. If Trump orders the Secret Service to physically block the sheriff from executing a legal civil order on a commercial business, he is getting into obstruction of justice territory. But Trump will argue they are trying to bankrupt the president to stop him from governing. This is a coup by other means. Sources inside the White House describe the mood as nuclear. Remember, Trump views his net worth as his soul. He views his buildings as his children. To him, this is not a legal dispute. It is a personal violation. He is reportedly on the phone with his new attorney general, whoever replaced the previous one in the recent purges, demanding that the DOJ intervene. He wants the Department of Justice to file an emergency injunction in federal court arguing that a sitting president is immune from civil asset seizure. This is a novel legal theory. The Supreme Court ruled in Clinton versus Jones that a president can be sued civilly. But can he be evicted? Can his business be liquidated while he is trying to run the country? The argument will be distraction. Your Honor, the president cannot negotiate the Greenland Treaty or solve the Japan crisis if he is worried about his furniture being auctioned off on eBay. This is an undue burden on the executive branch. It's the unitary executive theory taken to its financial limit. He is arguing that his wallet and the national treasury are functionally linked because his attention is a national asset. But the Japan crisis makes this argument weaker. The public is seeing their 401ks drop. They are seeing inflation. If the president says, stop everything and save my golf course, the political optics are suicidal. This connects back to the total wipe